Hi Krishna, dear devotees. Uh, First of all, I'd like to thank my father for giving me this opportunity to purify myself by sharing um, the wisdom and knowledge of Srimad Bhagavad Gita that I have received from reading Bhagavad Gita from Srila Prabhupada and also my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami, Srila Guru Maharaj, and so many of my mentors and devotees who I'm very blessed to be surrounded with, and also my parents. I'm constantly learning from all of you. So please bless me so I can deliver something that may be effective. And if there's any mistakes, please consider to be due to my own impurities and defect. So before I start, I'd like to chant Mangalacharan. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Shapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Shagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Shaitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Shagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindha Dino Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So last Sunday we read from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the verse, chapter 11, verse, I'm sorry, chapter 10, verse 11. So today we're going to cover some more verses after the 11th verse, and mainly we're going to be discussing chapter 10, verse 20. So let me share my screen. Before we move to verse 20, we're going to just read the translation of the previous verses so we can also understand the context, which is very important. So do we have any volunteers to read translation? So we read text 11, which I can read to recap our memory, which is, to show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So text 12 and 13, would anyone like to read the translation? Okay. 11, right? 11. 12 and 13.
Even the text on the translation. The 12th verse says, "You are the supreme Brahman, the ultimate, supreme abode and purifier, the absolute truth and eternal divine person. You are the primal God, transcendental and original, and you are the unborn and all-pervading beauty of the great sages such as Narada, Ashita, Devala, and Vaishya proclaim this of you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me."
Text 14. O Krishna, I totally accept as the truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality.
Okay. You alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. Text 16. Anyone from the Zoom audience?
Please tell me in detail of your divine opulence by which you pervade all of these worlds.
Thank you, Rico. Text 17.
How should I meditate on you? In what various forms are you to be contemplating? O blessed Lord.
Okay.
17, that's 17.
There is different wording. You want to read?
O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you and how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered? O Supreme Personality of God.
Text 18. O Janardana, again, please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I am never satiated in hearing about you. For the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. Text 19.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, yes, I will tell you of my circumstances manifestation, but only of those which are prominent. O Arjuna, of my opulence is limitless.
All right, so now we're going to read text 20, which will be our primary focus for today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Ahamatma Gurakesha.
Aham Atma Gurakesha.
Sarvabhutashaya Stitaha.
Sarvabhutashaya Stitaha.
Ahamadircha Madhyam cha.
Ahamadisya Madhyam cha.
Bhutanamantayeva cha.
Bhutanamantayeva cha. Aham Atma Gurakesha.
Ahamatma Gurakesha.
Sarvabhutesha Siddhada.
Sarvabhutashaya Stitaha.
Aham Adisya Madhyam cha.
Ahamadircha Madhyam cha.
Bhutanam Antayeva cha.
Bhutanamantayeva cha. Word for word translation. Aham, I. Atma, the soul. Gurakesha, O Arjuna. Sarva Bhuta, of all living entities. Ashaya Stitaha, situated within the heart. Aham, I am. Adihi, the origin. Cha, also. Madhyam, middle. Cha, also. Bhutanam, of all living entities. Antaha, end. Eva, certainly. Cha, and. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Ki Jai. I am the Super Soul, O Arjuna, situated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, Arjuna is addressed as Gurakesha, which means one who has conquered the darkness of sleep. For those who are sleeping in the darkness of ignorance, it is not possible to understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests himself in various ways in the material and spiritual worlds. Thus, this address by Krishna to Arjuna is significant. Because Arjuna is above such darkness, the personality of Godhead agrees to describe his various opulences. Krishna first informs Arjuna that he is the soul of the entire cosmic manifestation by dint of his primary expansion. Before the material creation, the Supreme Lord, by his plenary expansion, accepts the Purusha incarnation, and from him everything begins. Therefore, he is Atma, the soul of the Mahat Tattva, the universal elements. The total material energy is not the cause of the creation. Actually, the Mahavishnu enters into the Mahatattva, the total material energy. He is the soul. When Mahavishnu enters into the manifested universe, he again manifests himself as the supersoul in each and every entity. We have experienced that the personal body of the living entity exists due to the presence of the spiritual spark. Without the existence of the spiritual spark, the body cannot develop. Similarly, the material manifestation cannot develop unless the Supreme Soul Krishna enters. As stated in the Subala Upanishad, Prakriti Adi Sarva Bhutantaryami Sarva Sheshi Cha Narayanaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is existing as the Supersoul in all manifested universe. The three Purusha avatars are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. They are also described in the Narada Pancharatra, one of the Sattvata Tantras. Vishnu stu trini rupani purusha khayani ato viduhu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests three features as Karanadakshay Vishnu, Garbhadakshay Vishnu, and Shiradakshay Vishnu in this material manifestation. The Mahavishnu or Karanadakshay Vishnu is described in the Brahma Samhita 5.47. Ya Karanarnave Jale Bhajati Sma Yoga Nidram. The Supreme Lord, Krishna, the cause of all causes, lies down in the cosmic ocean as Mahavishnu. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the beginning of this universe, the maintainer of these universal manifestations, and the end of all energy. So let's recite this verse one more time. Ahamatma Gurakesha
Ahamatma Gurakesha
Sarva Bhutashaya Stitaha
Sarvabhutashaya Stitah
Ahamadishcha Madhyam Cha
Ahamadesya Madhyam Cha
Bhutanamanta eva cha.
Bhutanamanta eva cha.
So before we dive into this verse, which is jam-packed with so much of information and knowledge that Krishna gives us, I also want to look back at verse 19, where the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent, O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless." So let's do a short recap of what we read in the last few verses with just the translations. So as you can see from verse 12 to 18, they're also broken down into three different topics. So in verse 12 and 13, Arjuna accepts Lord Krishna as supreme, and Arjuna also names very highly respected sages, and this underlines the importance of parampara. So Arjuna is not accepting Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead just out of his mental concoction, but he's also listing all these highly scholarly sages that are authorized, who also accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he's giving credibility to these sages and to the fact that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then in verse 14 to 15, we learn how Arjuna accepts Krishna, and he accepts Krishna as the authority. In the next two verses, Arjuna asks Krishna of his opulence. So here we can see the eagerness of Arjuna to learn more about Krishna. And this is due to Arjuna being a pure devotee of the Lord, which means that he's never satiated in hearing the Lord's qualities. So this is one of the main characteristics of a devotee who never gets tired of hearing the Lord's qualities and glorification. So this is a characteristic that we all should aspire to have. In the following verse, which is text 19, we learn from Lord Krishna himself that there is no limit to his glories. And when we read this, a normal person, when he reads this, one may think that, Krishna may be being arrogant. He's saying, oh, there's no limit to my glories. But we need to actually understand the context that Lord Krishna is speaking. And we need to understand that actions speak louder than words. So we know that Krishna is Arjuna's charioteer. So someone who would want a very high status would not become someone else's charioteer, would not want to serve his friend. And so that is one of the ways we can see that Krishna does not want a high position. So he's not speaking out of arrogance. And through Krishna's words in this verse, we can actually understand that he's giving us an opportunity to redirect our attraction from the material things in this world to the source of all those things, which is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he also addresses the doubt of the conditioned soul. So, for example, if a person goes to a doctor and he's in urgent need of care, he is very sick, so the doctor says that yes, you need surgery, and this doctor is highly educated, he's recognized all over the world, but this patient, he's thinking, oh, I don't know, he's having some doubts in his mind. So he tells the doctor, I want to go check with all the other doctors, even though the patient's condition is very serious, and if he does not get treated immediately, then it will only get worse. So the doctor tells the patient that actually all the other doctors that you're going to visit, they were actually all my students. So why do you want to waste this time going to all these other people when I am giving you the right prescription? So this is how Krishna addresses the doubt of the conditioned soul. So that is why Krishna is telling Arjuna that there is no limit to my glories, but I'm only going to give you the primary parts so you can understand my glories, because of course there is no limit. And in that verse, there is this word Atma Vibhutaya, which means personal opulence or special existence or special manifestations of Krishna. So for example, if there's a wooden log lying somewhere, it's not going to be as special as if you get a lot of logs together and you build this artistic masterpiece of this really nice table that is carved very well. That is going to be a masterpiece, and that is going to be a special element that is created by that log. So just like that, Krishna will be telling Arjuna of his special manifestations and his personal opulences. And we also learn about the word Vibhuti yoga, which is actually the Sanskrit name of this chapter, which is the opulence of the absolute. And why is this chapter called Vibhuti Yoga? It is because Vibhuti means extraordinary manifestations, and yoga means connection. So how does Vibhuti bring about yoga? Well, there are many things in this world that we may find very, very attractive. For example, a skyscraper or really nice building. I have an architectural background, which is why I'm giving these examples. But you may find so many things that are very attractive, but thinking about them, it will not bring us closer to Krishna. However, when we recognize that, and Krishna tells Arjuna that actually all these attractions that you see in this world, they're only simply a reflection of the spark of my splendor. So when we understand that, as you can see in the translation of this verse, of my splendorous manifestations. So when we understand that, that is when we can connect the attractions of this world to Krishna. And that is how we can practice Vibhuti Yoga. So we are understanding that we're connecting all the opulences of this world to the absolute. Now going forward to the main focus of our discussion today, which is text 20. Here, one of the words that is very important for us to look at, which is Gurakesha. And this word means one who conquers sleep. But this word was also broken down by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who says that actually this word means one who gives sweetness like jaggery to even Brahma or Shiva. So Gura actually means jaggery, and Ke means Brahma, and Isha refers to Shiva. So this means that the reciprocation of love between the Lord and his devotees is so endearing that it attracts even the celestial personalities like Brahma and Shiva. And that reciprocation is only possible when devotees have that kind of devotion. The Lord is always going to have love for his devotees, but when someone has that devotion for the Lord, that is when we can see that reciprocation, which is why Krishna chose Arjuna to impart this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, because Arjuna was the best devotee of Krishna, devotee and friend. And so because of Arjuna's sincerity and devotion and love towards Krishna, it has made Krishna serve him as a charioteer. And in this verse, Krishna also dismisses the impersonalist philosophy of Aham Brahmasmi. So the impersonalists, they believe that we are not different from Brahman or the Supreme. But here clearly, Krishna says, Aham Atma Gurakesha. So the word Atma here, it does not refer to the soul. It does not refer to our soul. It actually refers to the super soul. And this is proven by understanding that if the same Atma is present everywhere, then why is there a need of the Atma or the soul transmigrating from one body to another, which is said by Krishna in a previous verse, which is Dehinasmina jatha dehe kumaram jovanam jara tatha dehantara prapti dhirastatra namujjati. And this was verse 13 in chapter 12, which is, as the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. So from this verse, we understand that our soul, it passes from one body to another at the time of death. However, Krishna, being the super soul, he is situated in the hearts of all the living entities. And the third point is that he pervades space and time. Aham adishcha madhyam cha bhutanam anta eva cha. So by space, he pervades space by acting as the super soul in all the living entities. And he pervades time by being the beginning, middle, and end. And we can understand this by knowing that in the beginning, as we read in the purport, that Karnadakshay Vishnu and Garvadakshay Vishnu, and then there's also Shiradakshay Vishnu. So these are all different manifestations of Lord Krishna, and through these manifestations, the Mahatattva is manifested, and that is how this world is created, and then we all get life. So he represents the beginning, also the middle, Madhyamja, because ultimately we can understand that we're not actually maintaining our whole body. So for example, when we eat, we're not aware of how the food actually gets digested in our body. We simply just eat and go on about our day, but the food gets digested through a complicated system in our body, but we're not feeling that, oh, you know, this now it's going through the intestines and all of this. We're just simply going on with our actions. So Krishna is actually allowing that to happen after we eat. So that is just one example. And the end, which can be signified by death itself, which is, of course, we all know that death is not in our hands. And this is the indicator of the ultimate power of Krishna. And these three, which is beginning, middle, and the end, they also refer to Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. So who ultimately get their knowledge and power from Krishna. So the creation, maintenance, and destruction are done by the guna avatars, such as passion, goodness, and ignorance. And these are ultimately manifestations of Krishna. So in that sense, he's saying that he is all these things. Now, why is it important that we understand these glories of Lord Krishna, or, you know, these opulences? It is because when we love someone, we want to learn more and more about that person, right? So similarly, one of the main ways that we can increase our love for Krishna is learning more about him. He also says in the Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo vedi tatvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti suarjuna. So Krishna tells Arjuna and all of us that one who understands the janma, the appearance, and the karma, the actions of Krishna, the transcendental appearance and actions of Krishna, then we do not have to take birth in this material world again. Then we can finally go back to the abode of Krishna. And we can conclude here. Maybe if anyone else wants to share anything, try to keep this very short, but if anyone else has any realizations or comments, please feel free to share them. Yes.
We hear this different name of Krishna, Gudakesh here, Vasudev, and others. And these are the same 108 names of Krishna, one of the 108.
Here the Gudakesha he is saying to Arjuna.
Yes, Gudakesha is another
Arjuna.
name of Arjuna.
Oh, I see.
Yes. Rishikesha is another name of Krishna. So Gudakesh means one who conquers sleep. That is Arjuna. He has conquered sleep. So he rised above the mode of darkness. That is the literal meaning of Gudakesha. You can see in the Bhagavad Gita. And Rishikesha means one who conquers his senses. So that is Krishna. So these are two names of Arjuna and Krishna.
Now, there are other names of Vasudeva, many other terms here. But are those Krishna's one of some of the 108 names?
Krishna has unlimited names based on his different pastimes. So like Govinda, Gopala, these Damodar, Krishna is given different names based on his very, very sweet pastimes. So he doesn't only have 108 names, but 108 names, they're very prominent, but he actually has unlimited names.
Another question is that we have a soul in our body,
Yes,
but he is the super soul.
yes,
So Atma, Paramatma.
yes. The super soul is also seated in our heart to accompany us while we are in this material world. So the super soul, he gives us knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. You can read in one of the verses, which is Sarvasya jaham vidhi sannivishto mata smriti jnanam apohanam cha vedesya sarvirahamiva vedyo vedanta krit veda vedeva chaham. So he's saying Sarvasya jaham vidhi, vidhi means heart, sannivishto, mattaha, from me you're getting matta stitir jnanam. So knowledge, Mata smritir jnanam apohanam, knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. So we're actually getting all these things from the super soul, which is Krishna himself. So we should never feel that we are alone in this world. That is one of the ways that I try to console myself whenever I do feel lonely. I try to remember that actually Krishna is seated in my heart and he's always there with me to guide me. Because and we can understand this from one example, which was given by Srila Prabhupada. For example, there's a father and his small child, and the small child, he sees the father driving, right? And he tells the father, I also want to drive. But of course, he's not old enough to drive, right? But he's making such a he's very adamant on driving. He doesn't stop crying. He constantly tells his father, I really want to drive, so what does his father do to console his son, to pacify him? He gets the son a small toy car, right? So then the child can drive that toy car and he can feel like he's also driving. He feels like he's in control, but actually his father is right there next to the child, always guiding him, right? So in a way, he's giving the child what he wants, but he's also there being the father, to protect the child, because he's not going to leave the child alone. So similarly, when we, being the part and parcel of Krishna, when we wanted to enjoy ourselves, we wanted to have control, Krishna gave us that control. That is why we came in this material world and we feel like we have little control, which is like mini Ishwar, right? But ultimately, Krishna is the super controller, supreme controller. So that is why he came with us as the super soul to guide us, but he's also letting us decide for ourselves which is good. Just like how he's telling Arjuna all these different knowledge, but at the end, he tells Arjuna that this is your choice, whether you want to fight or not. Ultimately, it is your choice. So Krishna does not force his devotees to ever surrender to him. He's always giving us that choice, the free will, but we need to be able to receive the right kind of knowledge so we can come to Krishna ultimately.
So Krishna also said that you are a fighter.
Yes.
That's your dharma.
Yes,
So you need to fulfill his dharma.
Yes. Krishna imparts all this knowledge to Arjuna. One of the reasons why he does it is because Arjuna surrenders onto Krishna. He accepts Krishna as the Supreme Personality. So if we do not accept the position of Krishna, then we will not believe anything that Krishna says. So Arjuna here is actually acting out of, he's setting an example for us in this human society, that, you know, how we should surrender unto Krishna, how we should accept Krishna as the supreme. Then only we can receive this knowledge. And that is the first step, is to receive the knowledge. And that becomes acquired knowledge. Then when we actually apply it, when we start practicing the knowledge that we get, that becomes applied knowledge. And then when we share it with others, that becomes what? Realized knowledge. So what implementation? Yeah, implied knowledge. So we're actually implementing this knowledge to everyone.
So the main thing is that you have to have faith.
Yes, faith is very, very important. That is the first step to becoming receiving pure devotion for Krishna. Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivriti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Ashakti, and then Prem. The last step is Prem, which is love of Godhead. But it all starts with Shraddha, or faith. So we need to have faith in the Supreme Lord whenever we're doing anything that is related to Krishna consciousness, whenever we're chanting, whenever we're reading, whenever we're hearing from another devotee, we should actually have faith in Krishna. Otherwise, we will never be able to understand or receive the love of Godhead.
So there's a saying, especially in the line of Understand?
No.
Vishwashe, I mean, if you have faith, then you will get it. If not, then you can argue, you will never go anywhere.
Yes, thank you. So any other comments or realizations or from the Zoom audience? Also, please forgive me if I made any mistakes, and please correct me, as all of you are senior to me, so I'm still learning and I'm just trying to share what I have learned so far. Meera Mataji, you're saying something? I think you have to unmute. We cannot hear you, Mataji.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was going to say that you explained so very well all the verses, you know, and I really enjoyed your explanation of all the verses which are so nicely explained and clear, you know, everything. So there is no no question left to ask you, because you did really great job.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you for encouraging.
Thank you, Vishnupriya. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Thank you. I will share the slides with all of you so you can see in detail. So if there is no other comments or questions, Dr. Ravi Divanji, I see you have unmuted.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. I
Hare
enjoyed
Krishna.
very much your Hari Katha and explaining the supreme powers of Lord Krishna. It was wonderful. Thank you so much for imparting
Thank you.
all the, verses and all of the knowledge that you did. Appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Hare
Dr. Ravi
Hare
Divanji, for
Hare
always
Krishna.
inspiring us with your own devotion and knowledge. Dr. Ravi Divanji is a scholar and
Hare
he's very
No,
scholarly in Bhagavad Gita, so we're always learning
thank
from
you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, appreciate. Thank you.
So I think now we can move on to the final part of the program, which is Aarti. Thank you all so much for staying with us so far. So we'll switch the camera. Just give us one moment. Hare Krishna.